The Trigger Spoon Jr. Big enough to draw strikes from trophy trout, small enough to round up a limit of pan-sized fryers, and the perfect spoon to put on the end of your line when the trolling gets tough. Pick up your kit of Trigger Spoon Juniors today at fishhuntshoot.com. Fish on right there, bam. Man, that guy hit like a ton of bricks. Of course, I was going 3 miles an hour, so. A lot of people think that trout trolling is all about trolling slow, and you know, sometimes you gotta troll slow, but if you can get away with it, trolling fast is the way to go. It's a lot more exciting. Just aggressive trolling, provided you got your gear dialed in, is just the way to go. Catch a lot of fish real quick that way, and when you find fish that are actively feeding, it is super exciting. Oh man. Oh, he does not like that spoon in his mouth. I got all the fish I want, so I'm just gonna let this guy go. I'll just lift him. It's a nice little 1-pounder. Jumped all over that speed spoon. Right there. This is a good time to kind of go over trolling strategy. I always have questions about this, and if you've been watching the channel long, you've been reading my stuff, maybe you got one of my books, you probably already know what I'm going to say, but even if you do, let's review, and if you've never heard this before, take this advice to heart. I didn't work this out yesterday. I worked out my systematic approach to trolling, you know, from years on the water and consulting with some of the best guides, some of the best anglers on the West Coast. It's not complicated, it's systematic, and that's the key. So, and I'm primarily going to be talking about spoon trolling here, but it applies to other presentations too. I have 3 factors I think about when I go trolling for trout. 1 is lure color, 2 is speed, and 3 is lure size. Color is in capital letters, speed, capital letters, size, a little bit smaller letters, because that's kind of a side concern in a lot of ways. So this is going to be a 2-part video. We're going to talk about color a little bit later on. Today, we're going to talk about speed. And for me, that is the #1 cornerstone, you know, of what I'm trying to do on the water. Now, when I think about trout trolling speed, and again, I'm thinking about spoons or plugs, okay? But let's focus on spoons. When I think about speed, I like to break it down into 3 speed ranges: fast, medium, and slow. Not hard to understand. For me, fast is 2.7 all the way up to 4+ miles an hour. Medium speed, anything from 2.7 all the way down to 2 miles an hour. And you know, there's kind of gray areas there. Is 2.8 fast or medium fast, you know, kind of whatever you define it. But that's me. 2.7 and above, fast. 2.7 down to 2, medium speed. And slow speed is anything from 2 down to about 1.3. Now, in those speed ranges, I kind of have some target speeds that I think about. Fast, for me, most days, most lakes, 3 miles an hour. I'm going to keep my speed in the 3 mile an hour zone. I might drop down to 2.8, I might kick it up to 3.3, but 3 is the target. Medium speed, 2.2, all the way up to 2.6. That's my medium speed range. Slow, 1.5, 1.8. I might drop down to 1, 1.3. I might kick it up to 2.2, but slow, 1.5 to 1.8. That's my target speed. Now, if you're like me, if you've been at this very long, you got a box full of spoons, okay? Spoons are versatile. They come in all different sizes. They come in all different shapes, all different colors, and there are spoons that run at all different speeds. But here's what you gotta do. got to go through your stuff and you have to figure out which spoons are fast, a fast presentation spoon, which ones are medium speed, and which ones are good at slow speeds. Now, I like to start out fast. I like to be aggressive. I like to draw strikes, reaction strikes from actively feeding trout. If that pattern is working, I'll stick with it. I'll stick with it all day. If I get out there and it's not working, or maybe it was working and it's not working now, then I'll go to the medium speed stuff. If that's not working or it stops working, the slow speed stuff comes out. And I might change throughout the day. If it's glassy and I'm going slow to draw strikes and I've been having a hard time, and all of a sudden I get a bunch of chop on the water, I might experiment, bump back up to high speed, because I know those trout will get more aggressive with that chop on the water. So, but the bottom line is, you need to be prepared to troll fast, medium, or slow, and go through those speeds systematically. Start off fast, medium, then slow. Let's talk about spoons. Now, you're going to have to kind of test your spoons, or maybe you already know what speed your spoons run at, but I'm going to use 3 of my signature series spoons as an example, and we're going to talk a little bit about size as we do this. So, if I hit a lake and I'm going to go fast, I want a spoon that I control at 3 miles an hour, and I'm probably going to reach for one of my speed spoons, or a humdinger from Gary Morales, Max Lure, or a Thomas Lure Speedy Shiner, something like that. Something that I can run effectively at 3 miles an hour and really pound the fish with. Now, medium speed, 2.6, 2.5, 2.2, something like that. That is where my full-size trigger spoon shines. Other lures that work well in this category: 1/4 ounce Castmasters, cripple lures, needlefish, stuff like that. Now, slow, I'm going to break out my Trigger Spoon Junior. Deadly lure, caught a bunch of big fish on it already. This is the lure my wife caught that 5-pounder on up at El Menor last October. But other slow spoons are the Vance's tackle. It's called the Sniper Spoon now. It used to be called the Sockeye Slammer. The Dick Knights in a variety of sizes, stuff like that. Those are your slow speed spoons. Now, I said I was going to talk about size, and let's do that. When you're out trying to pull a reaction strike, typically you're running a fairly substantial lure. The speed spoon is almost 3 inches long. You put it up on my index finger, you can see it's a pretty big spoon. A 1/2 ounce humdinger, same thing. That's a large spoon. It's almost 3 inches long. You're looking for aggressive fish. They're in the feeding mindset. They're hot. They're ready. Show them something big. But you'll notice, as I decrease in speed, the size of the lures tends to get smaller. So let's compare the Trigger Spoon Junior to the speed spoon. It's a lot smaller. Now, that is something that I kind of held on to from my fly fishing days back when I used to fly fish exclusively. When a bite gets tough and you need to slow down when you're fly fishing, typically that means downsizing as well. Finicky fish means slower speeds and smaller lures. So for me, as I said in the very beginning of this video, lure size is often a function of speed. Now, that's not to say that I'm not going to get out on Shasta in the springtime and catch a fish or two. Maybe I'm struggling. I catch one fish and I see that they're feeding on those little tiny, shad larvae. In that situation, it might be very important to ditch the big stuff, ditch the fast stuff, and break out a wee Dick Knight. So you got to keep your eyes open. You got to keep your mind open. But we're talking general strategy here. Start off big and fast. Work down the size spectrum. Work down the speed spectrum until you hit fish. And remember, if none of that works, break out a threaded night crawler. Put the blades away. Run that night crawler naked. Run it at 1 mile an hour. And it might just save your day. Gulp works too. But that is my basic philosophy in terms of speed and lure size when it comes to effectively trolling for trout. And I don't care where I'm at. I don't care if I'm at Rollins, Collins, Folsom, Shasta, some lake in Idaho where I've never been. That's always going to be my strategy. Start off fast, move to the medium, move to the slow, and typically somewhere in that continuum, I'm going to catch a fish, and that fish is going to tell me a lot about what's going on at the lake. Anyway, fish systematically, you'll catch more and bigger trout. I guarantee it. I will catch you later right here on YouTube. Thanks for all the support, guys. Please take a second to subscribe, hit that notification bell, and if you haven't checked out the Fish Hunt Shoot Productions store yet, click on over there. It's full of trout tackle, speed spoons, trigger spoons juniors, minnow tubes, and more. I will catch you next time right here, guys. Thanks a lot. I'm Kel Kellogg. You have a wonderful day.